what a dramatic finish last night in front of a full house. And tonight, once again, Coors Field will be filled to the brim. Rockies and Red Sox Act 2. And it's another beautiful night for baseball. A lot of folks will be wearing Carlos Gonzalez t-shirts. That was a promotion tonight. And everybody is standing up. And for most of last night, a lot of folks were standing up. Welcome, everybody. With George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman on another warm night at Coors Field. The Rockies had a 1-0 lead. Yoli Chacin out-pitched last night John Lester, and Lester was very good.
He was very good last night, but again, Chacin came out, and I look back at a very big moment with the bases loaded. It was time for him to implode as a young kid. He didn't do that. I looked at one of the situations that he did, too. Obviously, throwing a 3-2 changeup, showed a lot of guts to do it.
Yes, he did. He made some strides, some growth as a 22-year-old and a very good young big league pitcher. Tonight's pitching matchup, John Lackey. He has done a lot of big things in his career with Anaheim, now pitching on the East Coast against a fellow by the name of Ubaldo Jimenez, going for his 14th victory tonight.
Well, I mean, what do you say about Ubaldo Jimenez? What can you say? 14 games, 13-1. He's gone 7 or more innings in those 14 starts. 10 times he's done that. Think about that. 10 times, 7 innings more in those starts. He gives his team a chance. Obviously, here at this ballpark has been outstanding. 184 in run average. At night, he's 6-0 this year with an 0.84 earned run average.
And this can be a difficult time period to hit, especially when a guy throws 100 miles an hour. We'll be talking about Ubaldo throughout the night. Let's get a little more on John Lackey from Jeff Houston. Huey?
Well, guys, you talk about Lackey, and Drew, you mentioned what a big pitcher he was for the Angels. He came over here to the Boston Red Sox, 5-year deal, over 110 wins at the big league level. And you look at what he's been able to do this year, 8-3 with an ERA over 4. But those numbers are a little bit deceiving in a couple different ways. One, he had 2 games where he had a lot of earned runs, 8 and 6 earned runs. The second thing is he's getting a lot of runs support. Talking to 2 or 3 different scouts today, they say, you know what, this guy is not quite the pitcher that he was in Anaheim, and part of that has to do with the inability to get that big curveball over, so that'll be a key tonight here at Coors Field.
Huey, I heard the same thing. Talking to somebody with the Red Sox said, hey, he's winning, but he's getting a lot of run support. We'll talk more about how the Rockies won last night when we return.
Mike, I believe that was John Lester's picture up on Lackey's numbers. That was not John Lackey. Yeah, you better double check.
Playing left field, number 7-7.
are about set for baseball, the Rockies and Red Sox. Tonight is game 2 of a 22-game stretch for the Rockies, in which they will play teams all above 500. And with the offense sputtering a bit and missing your 4-hole hitter in Troy Tulowitzki, you're going to have to win your share of one-run, low-scoring games, as they did last night, George.
And they did it as they have been all year long, and it's been with very good pitching, starting pitching, which was outstanding. Chachin last night, 6 2/3 inning, a very dominant breaking ball in this ball game against the Boston Red Sox. He had him baffled with it away. Feimel, a huge out with Ortiz and the bases loaded in the 7th inning. They're able to get Ortiz to ground out, and then they turned the ball over to Betancourt. He was able to come in and get the weak ground ball. A nice play by Betancourt to prevent any more damage in that inning. Then Belisle comes on. He finishes up in the 9th. He gets the punch out. And oh, by the way, folks, you will not see a play like this that you saw from Clint Varmus from very many shortstops in the game of baseball to end it.
Well, it's huge for the Rockies to have not one, but 2 first-rate, first-class individuals who play shortstop, who have great range in both Tulowitzki, obviously, and Varmus. Let's check in now with Alana Rizzo downstairs. Alana?
All right, guys, thanks very much. Talking in the game today about pick me, how the 2004 draft class well represented in this game. Then seeing stars, the Colorado Rockies represented very well at the Futures game during the All-Star break, and friends before foes. I'll tell you about the special relationship between Big Papi and Ubaldo Jimenez, guys.
All right, Alana, we'll look forward to those stories. We are ready for baseball. The Rockies and Red Sox. It's mic'd up night. TR's got the mic on. Come on back with us. Brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470, quick, easy, and available to anyone. Test drive it today. By Ford Taurus, the all-new Ford Taurus. It's America's most innovative full-size sedan. Ford Taurus, drive one. And by Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. Well, what a week for the Rockies. They took 2 of 3 from Milwaukee last night. Stunning 2-1 victory over the Red Sox. And tonight, Ubaldo Jimenez will toe the rubber. And first things first, George, he feels just fine.
He does feel just fine. Jim Tracy said he made that very evident today in his press conference prior to the ball game. Feels 100% ready to go.
Yeah, he left before the ball game last night, not because he wanted to. He was feeling a little under the weather earlier in the day, but he said he felt fine. But Jim Tracy told Keith Duggar, send him home. We don't want to take any chances. Marco Scuro will lead things off for the Red Sox. Solid .280 average for the veteran shortstop. And He'll be followed by Dustin Pedroia in the Red Sox lineup tonight. Then Victor Martinez. David Ortiz, Big Pappy, gets a start at first base. So you trade offense for defense for some offense. Adrian Beltre's had a great year. Daniel Nava's reaching all 9 of his big league ball games. Josh Reddick will be in right field. Darnell McDonald out of Cherry Creek High School. He's done a very fine job for the Red Sox since being called back to the big leagues. And John Lackey is on the hill. Let's take a look at the scouting report on Ubaldo.
Well, 92 to 100. He has touched 101. I'm not going there just yet. Slider 88, 92. Curveball's outstanding. Changeup. And then, of course, with that changeup mix, he will throw a split finger into the high 80s, low 90s. This is an interesting number on Mr. Jimenez. Think about this. 385 batters faced this year. Listen to this. 385 batters faced. 13 have scored.
Wow. Amazing. There's a lot of amazing numbers. First pitch brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza, followed by a space, and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. So here we go. We are thrilled you're along. The Rockies and Red Sox game 2. And the first pitch of the night on the outside corner. Smooth at 95. And that fastball is in there as well. And I'll tell you what, if Ron Kolpa gives Jimenez the high strike as well, it could be a real long night for the Red Sox. And that is exactly what Marco Scudero, Jeff's saying to himself right now.
Yeah, because if he's going to throw 95 or whatever it was up here and he throws strikes, I'm not able to hit it up there.
Here's the 0-2. That was quick. Ooh. I had him punched out.
Well, I don't blame you, Drew. I would have had him punched out too. But the problem is with this sun and the shadows that are going on right there, I got some in my eyes here. Makes it very difficult for the hitters to try to pick up the baseball.
And the slider misses, so it's 2-2 on Marco Scudero.
When you face somebody like Jimenez, as a club, you ask your hitting coach, compare him to somebody. I don't know of anybody in the American League that's a starter that has dominant 4 pitches that you could compare him to.
And a tough man to strike out's gone on a splitter. Marco Scudero, one of the toughest in the American League to punch out. In fact, the 9th hardest goes down. Seth Smith, Carlos Gonzalez, and Brad Hoff in the Rockies outfield tonight. Ian Stewart's back in at third. Clint Barmas and Johnny Herrera up the middle. Todd Helton at first, and Miguel Olivo has caught every one of Ubaldo's starts but one. Now Dustin Pedroia steps up, former ASU star, and he takes a fastball at 99.
Well, just starting to get loose a little bit. Let's look on the Hyundai cam. You can look at this pitch coming right out of the hands of Jimenez. This is the split-fingered fastball, and watch how this ball just tumbles and sometimes has cut to the baseball.
And that's what makes it difficult to hit, George, is that little cut at the end. You see it coming out of the hand as a fastball, and it's not fair to the hitter. He throws it that hard.
I'd like to be the guy to catch it.
Wow. I mean, how do you describe that?
You don't. Yeah, I mean, and neither can Dustin. He's just kind of laughing because, you know what? It happens every once in a while.
This ball really had a bunch of tail to it, and he started to commit early because at 99 miles an hour, you better commit early.
He committed early, and then he was fearful he was going to get hit. Where's that? That's 100 miles an hour. And that looked like it was all over the outside corner.
Not even Terry Francona appreciates what he's seeing right now. I mean, with these shadows and the velocity mixed to it off the plate, but in a very good location on a 1-2 count.
2-2 splitter. That's dirty. That's unfair. That is lethal.
Well, think about this number right now. When he does get ahead of you, 0-2 and be after that, the opposition's 11 for 101. A 109 average. He's building the totals on that. Make it 11 for 103 now, 113.
Well, Dave Magadan, who was a terrific left-handed hitter, right now he's going, boy, I'm glad I'm a hitting coach and I don't have to go up there and apply my craft against this guy. Victor Martinez. And that's poured over the plate.
left-handed hitters have hit 206 off Jimenez. Right-handers 172.
Yeah, overall, the league hitting 187 against him. Here's the 0-1, and he dropped the hook. He hasn't shown that yet. He just want to let everybody know on that side of the stadium that he does have a pretty good hook.
Yeah, I've got that in my back pocket. So, guys, think about that in the 5th or 6th inning. The second and third times you face me. Remember that. I've got a hook, too.
Oh, boy, heater inside. See if he can catch this one.
He did. Fair ball to help. And at 100 miles an hour, his second triple-digit reading of the night. Ubaldo just fine. Standing go after the top of the first.
That's one in the books, Dak. Here we go.
Rockies bench coach, Greeley's own Tommy Runnels, wearing a microphone tonight. We appreciate it. He sits right next to Jim Tracy all evening long. Johnny Herrera getting ready to go. Johnny's done a very nice job atop the lineup. Todd Helton will be next. Todd had a couple of hits last night. Came within about 4 feet of hitting his 3rd home run of the year. Then Cargo, he had a couple of hits last night. Brad Hops, Seth Smith's in there. Miguel Olivo, Ian Stewart in the 7 hole. Clint Barmas and Ubaldo against the big man, John Lackey. 6'6", 245-pounder who enjoyed a great run with the Angels. Just signed a 5-year deal in the offseason to pitch with the Red Sox.
Typically a strike thrower. Back with the Angels, the most games won. He won 19 back in 2007. He went 19-9. 08, 12-5. Battled injuries in 09, but yet went 11-8.
And a breaking ball is in there for a strike. 1-2.
And he knows how to pitch. He's going to use a 4-pitch mix. He's going to throw out a curveball at times to you. And 4th strike zone. You see this one caught a little bit of the high zone. We've seen that from Ron Culpa early in the game.
Talking to Don Baylor, you got to be ready to hit when he's out there, because and Melvin Mora, who saw him a lot in the American League, said this. He goes, he's not afraid, and you know that by his reputation. He's going to throw strikes. He's going to come after you. He's going to throw on the inside part of the plate. He gets Herrera there on the outside corner. And Johnny's gone. It'll bring up Helton as we take a look at the scouting report on 31-year-old John Lackey.
109-74, fastball 88-93. He's touched 93 already. The curveball slider change mix that he will use in a ball game. Against Colorado, he has 1 win. Against Colorado in interleague play, his overall record versus the National League, 14-5 with a 282 earned run average.
And George, that 282 earned run average in interleague play among pitchers that have thrown at least 150 innings is 2nd best all time. Lackey has never pitched in this ballpark. He did face the Rockies a few years ago and beat them 5-4, went 8 innings against Colorado and allowed 3 runs. That was back in 2006.
Yeah, 2 of those runs came on a Todd Helton home run.
Yes, they did. Helton with a 2-strike count. It's been several handfuls of games now for Todd in that 2-hole, Huey, and he's hitting a respectable 286 there.
Well, he's just found his comfort zone. He realized, you know what, I don't have to be that run producing guy. Yeah, he would like to have a few more of those, but that's not his role right now. So I think he's just kind of settled into that role, evidenced by what he did last night.
Came up with a big base hit last night to drive into Rocky's first run, a fly ball down the right field line, and he just smoked the ball off the auxiliary scoreboard and right.
And you know what was good about that is that was a heater at 93, left on left. And that was a pretty good pitch by Lackey. Went to the back foot. A couple of strikeouts for Lackey. Trying to match what Jimenez did in the first inning. Here's the defensive alignment for Boston. Daniel Nava, Darnell McDonald in center field. Josh Reddick is in right. Beltre, great glove. Scudero at short. Pedroia at second. David Ortiz at first. And Victor Martinez behind the plate. There's Darnell. We were talking in the dining room downstairs earlier tonight. Members of the media have been around this town for a long time. They're flashing back to when Darnell was playing football and baseball at Cherry Creek High School. He may be, along with Dave Logan, the 2 greatest athletes to ever come out of this state. This ball is driven to left and deep. Nava going back and off the base of the wall. It'll be a stand-up 2-out double for Cargo. Jeff, you and I were watching him during batting practice, and we just keep oohing and on because we talk about his defense being effortless. His swing is effortless.
And that's what makes him so much fun to watch, because this pitch was off the strike zone just a little bit, but he stays on the baseball and drives it over the head of Nava in left field. And that's what makes Carlos so unique, in that he even with a longer swing, he's still able to stay through it and have a lot of power that way. It's not just all pull power.
So a chance for the Rockies to get a quick jump on John Lackey. Here's Brad Hawk. Let's take a look at the Suzuki keys to the game. Frage, what do you have?
Well, I think it's, the crowd's going to play another role in this ball game. I thought last night, even though it was a split crowd, when the Rockies started to do some good things, they helped along. Helton with his big base hit, and of course Jimenez. I think Todd's going to have another good night. I say that even after he struck out. I think he can come. I just get this feeling of watching him walk around the locker room in the dugout after being a part of a win last night. Not with his glove, but with his bat.
1-1 on Brad Hawk. Tell you what, Nava is awfully shallow in left for a guy that hits the ball to left with authority and Hawk.
I think where he's used to playing, though, Drew, with the green monster back there, maybe he's just more comfortable at a ballpark like this, and he's just used to playing in a little bit closer. I agree with you that Brad has the power to go out that way. We saw with Carlos, but after playing all the games, or a handful of games, I should say, at Fenway Park, with that monster there, he just feels more comfortable, maybe.
He'd be standing on the other side of the wall if he was at Fenway.
Yeah, what street is that behind it? Is that Yawkey? No, Yawkey Way's out in front.
You got me.
Yeah, but that's the street he'd be standing on, though.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Hawk.
It's Lansdowne.
Lansdowne Street, that's right.
Well, typically, this is where Lackey makes some pitches. 243 with runners in scoring position.
Strike 3. Lackey ends up striking out the side. Gonzalez left at second base. We move on to inning number 2. on Coors Field. Red Sox in town. First time the Rockies have seen them since the 07 World Series, a year they played them 7 times. Took 2 of 3 at Fenway in June, and then, of course, did not fare well in the postseason in the World Series. Ubaldo Jimenez to Big Pappy, and he pops it up. Easy play for Stewart. 1 out. Also going to have to get new lumber. Let's check in for the first time tonight with Alana Rizzo for our great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Hey, Alana.
Hey, guys. Thanks very much. An absolutely beautiful night here at Coors Field for a ball game. And I tell you what, it was a beautiful night for the 2004 draft class because there are several players in the park tonight that were drafted in that draft class a few years ago. For the current Red Sox, as far as that goes, Dustin Pedroia was drafted in the 2nd round and as the 65th overall pick for the Rockies. Houston Street and Chris Nelson both in the 1st round. Of course, Houston with Oakland, Chris Nelson here by Colorado. Seth Smith was drafted 2nd, 50th overall in the 2nd round by the Rockies. Dexter Fowler, 410th, 14th round by Colorado. Of course, Dexter Fowler now with the AAA Sky Sox, tearing it up down there in Colorado Springs. But a very, very good draft class. Several players represented here tonight, guys.
All right, Alana. 0-2 count on Adrian Beltre. Going to go in on him, and he breaks his back.
Well, and Baseball America awarded the Boston Red Sox for having the best draft results of anybody for the decade. More players had gotten to the big leagues. They traded away 2 of their top picks, and yet they never had a top pick in the top 7 in any one of those drafts. So they've obviously done a nice job with their scouting department.
Here's some of that draft class in 04. Dexter Fowler tearing it up in Colorado Springs. Beltre's going to back out again. Shadow now over a good portion of the mound. Home plate obviously in shadow, so that fastball at 99, a little bit hot. Beltre's got an 11-game hitting streak. Beltre, this may surprise you because in years past, he's a guy that struck out a fair amount. This year, with 2 strikes, he's leading all of baseball, hitting .323.
We saw a little bit of that last night where he's able to lay off a few pitches before he went to hit it. And like right there, a prime example, a hard slider away from him. He's still smart enough to understand I can't swing at that.
He also covered a couple of tough sliders off the plate thrown by Chacin just to foul it off. And that is a one-hopper to Barnes, and Helton on the tag. On the tag, Beltre is out. Nice play by Barnes, and even better play at first by the 3-time Gold Glover.
It was smart of Todd to come off the bag and realize that Beltre's running and still get him with the swipe tag. It's pretty close on that tag because it was right in front of me. He might have just barely got his jersey as he goes by on the backside.
Well, I think he did on the Hyundai Cam. You'll take a look at it here. Todd comes off, catches the baseball, and does tag him in the middle of the back for the out. And a lot of people may ask, you know, Todd comes off the bag as good as anybody in the game and applies the tag. Well, part of the reason behind that is with the dugout so close to first base. And the other side of that is there's an open slot for the players to go in and out. Obviously, if it gets by him, if he tries to stretch and just hang on to it, and he doesn't make the play, it ends up in the dugout, and the player advances.
Here's the 1-0 on Nava, and he hits this ball to left field. Seth Smith is there, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Ubaldo Jimenez. Middle of 2, no score. Seth Smith will lead it off. Smith leading things off, to be followed by Miguel Olivo and Ian Stewart against John Lackey. He signed a 5-year, $82 million deal in the offseason. And that's high, 1-1 on Smith, who's tied for the club lead in home runs with Carlos Gonzalez. They both have hit 10. Smith, an outstanding fastball hitter. And he gets curveballs, 2-1.
Lackey in his last 5 starts has gone 4-0, 362 earned run average. The Red Sox have put nearly a 6 spot on the board every time he takes them out.
You ought to get some wins if the club's giving you 6 every night.
Well, and a high earned run average of 453 with that 8-3 record. John Farrell, very good pitching coach, came over 4 years ago, 2007.
And this ball hit toward the gap in left center field. This is going to run all the way to the wall. Smith may have a shot at a triple. And he'll get there easily. Lead-off three-bagger for Seth Smith.
Pretty good pitch down and away from him, and what he does is takes it to the opposite field. A very good low ball hitter. Starts at that a little bit of a crouch stance on the Hyundai cam. You can really see his concentration when he drives this ball out into left center field in one of the deepest parts. Then it's just off to the races. And it's a race won by Seth Smith at third base and nobody out.
I like the way he cut the bags there, because he caught the inside corner on each of those bags, just looking for 3.
Here's Miguel Olivo. He takes a curveball for a strike. Well, Jeff, as we watch this replay of him, he, once underway, it's a baseball term, he has pretty good speed once he's underway.
Well, he does, and that's what allows him, because of his turns, the way he hit those bags, to make it pretty easily. I always taught people, it doesn't matter whether you hit those bags with your right or left foot, as long as you drive your left shoulder and really pull on it to get the torque and the turn to get to that next base.
1-1 count on Olivo. Big at bat here. Get it in play, you get an RBI. Infield's back. And that's in plenty of play for about a second and a half, and then it's a souvenir. 2-run home run for Olivo. His 10th of the year, 2-0 Colorado. 1 for 9 in his career, matching up with Lackey. That's hit number 2. Excuse me, he was 2 for 17. I was looking at different numbers. He's now 3 for 18, a big number 3.
That's right, this third hit, a big hit on the forward strike zone, a fastball that did not get in far enough of where Lackey wanted it, and he just elevated and see you later. The Rockies are very quickly 2-0 lead, and TR excited.
Oh, he got him! Yeah, he got him all right.
And no doubter, too.
Most of the ones that Miguel hits are no doubters. 0-2 on Stewart. And, Jeff, as you break down that swing of Olivo, it was not a swing to try to hit the ball 400 feet. It was a swing to get the ball in play and drive in the run.
Yeah, and that's what he was really working on in batting practice, not being too anxious at the plate with guys out there. And that's what he felt like happened to him a little bit last night. He was so amped up that he wanted to hit the first pitch. Well, you know what? It's okay. You can hit the second or third pitch. Just get one that you can drive, and he did.
1-2 on Stewart's fouled off.
Are you talking about just what Jeff's talking? You see the rock back and then just trying to elevate enough of this, but a great extension and leg drive from the backside. They caught that ball out front. It's a pretty good home run swing for Miguel Olivo. How about this? His 10 home runs resulted when he does homer. The Rockies are 7-2 on the season.
Good numbers. 1 out. Clint Barmas will come up with that home run by Miguel. His 10th of the year. There's only 3 catchers in baseball that have more home runs. John Buck has a dozen with Toronto. Rod Barajas with the Mets has 11. Mike Napoli with the Angels has 11. And the breaking ball is in there for a strike on Barmes. Two hops to Beltrick, and he continues to do that early evening, stopping hard on the left foot and resetting himself.
Well, he had to do it last night on 3 or 4 times this time of the evening, and then he does it again here. A couple of hops, he feels the ball, collects himself, and if you notice, he's throwing it hard, but he's throwing it underhanded, low, waist or below. You get it elevated above that, it makes it difficult on the first baseman.
Ubaldo Jimenez. You heard us reference at the top of the broadcast that Ubaldo's feeling fine, and that was because he went home yesterday. He was sent home before the ball game because he didn't feel all that well earlier in the day, though he was saying when the Rockies sent him home, no, I'm fine, I want to stick around. He's feeling much better, so he got a very good night sleep, and here he is throwing 100.
Starting pitchers always used to tell me it's not the night before, it's the 2 nights before you start. Because the night before you're amped up anyway, you're thinking about their hitters, you're thinking about this great crowd at Coors Field. It's the Boston Red Sox. You have a tough time going to sleep.
Going out a line drive to right. Josh Reddick steals a hit from him. That's not right. A big pat on the backside from his good friend David Ortiz. Miguel Olivo, a 2-run shot.
He might under certain situations. Right hand, yeah. He's got some speed, but none of them are big butters. No. Yeah, so that's all Tommy Runnels is trying to tell Ian Stewart is positioning. Are they going to bunt or are they not going to bunt? Because it makes a difference on how deep Ian can play or how shallow he needs to play.
Well, Johnny Herrera throws out Josh Reddick on the first pitch of inning number 3. Darnell McDonald will be coming up as we take a look at our Excel Energy fun fact for the evening. John Lester allowed just 1 run in last night's loss to the Rockies. It was the first time in his big league career that he took a loss in a game in which he allowed just 1 run. 106 starts. I think if he gives up 1 run, he's going to win most of the time, especially on this Red Sox outfit. Now, Darnell McDonald was here last season when he was playing for the Cincinnati Reds. And he takes a strike. Darnell went 1 for 8 in that series. He struck out 5 times, playing in front of friends and family.
And interesting, Drew, that he's wearing sunglasses right now. Maybe it works though.
It did. He fists this into left field for a base hit. So the first base runner for Boston is on with 1 out in the 3rd inning, and that'll bring up John Lackey. Now chill out this summer with a $1 frozen Coke or a $1 frozen cherry drink from Burger King.
Well, Lackey's up there to sacrifice bunt. Does have one sacrifice on the year.
Well, John Lackey, here's an interesting story about him. It's a strike. John Lackey, when he was at the University of Texas Arlington, he was there as a first baseman. He was not a pitcher. In high school, he hit over 500. He was a first baseman.
Right.
And then when he went to Grayson Junior College, they started dabbling with him. He's a big man. He throws hard on the mound. They won the Junior College World Series at Grand Junction in '99, and he gets drafted in the 2nd round by the Angels, and he's not a first baseman anymore.
Well, you can see why. Being 6'6" creates that unique arm angle where he can get on top of the baseball and get it down into the zone. Just kind of an imposing figure out there.
By the way, in junior college, he still hit .428 with 15 home runs. McDonald takes off, and fortunately for the Rockies, that ball was fouled off because McDonald had that stolen on Jimenez. Todd Helton's going to go over. He's going to get a rosin bet. He's going to remind Ubaldo to make sure he looks twice.
Well, you're not thinking at an 0-2 with the pitcher up that you're going to try to have a guy steal. The Hyundai Cam just shows you how difficult it was and how high that ball was up in the zone. And Lackey tried to get on top of it, but it's just so hard at 95 miles an hour. It's tough to do. Well, now you really have to watch McDonald over at first with Scudero, who can handle the bat. As you mentioned, Drew, not afraid to fall behind in the count, hit with 2 strikes. One of the couple guys in their lineup that can steal bases. McDonald, Pedroia is the other one.
3 strikeouts for Jimenez the first time through the lineup. Here's the 0-1 on Scudero. It's off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Olivo's throwing out 54% of the runners that have tried to steal against him. Nice stop.
Yeah, got Mike Cameron last night. And a boarded hit and run. Marco Scudero out of Venezuela in his 7th big league season. He's another free agent offseason signee by Theo Epstein. 2 years in Toronto, 4 years in Oakland.
Yeah, the 2 years in Toronto really put him on the map, though.
That's on the outside corner at 97. Last year he hit .282 with Toronto. Here's that pitch right on the black in the forward strike zone, and here's the Southwest Sky Cam.
And just a perfect frame for Miguel, too. Turn that wrist over and hold it for the home plate umpire, Ron Kolpa.
Three and 2. Baldo's worked ahead of virtually every hitter. He's had 34 pitches, a small number so far with 2 outs in the 3rd. 24 have been in the strike zone.
Yeah, that's
10 outside.
That's been the key. Working ahead in the count. The opposition hadn't done anything. This first 3 ball count he's had in the game.
McDonald will be off with the pitch. And a ground ball, weakly hit up the middle, and Barnett gets Scudero at first. Darnell McDonald reaches on a blue single. That's all for the Red Sox. Rockies 2-0 on a Miguel Olivo home run. Herrera with the Rockies up 2-0. He didn't swing the bat his first time up. He got painted by John Lackey. And he gets a curveball, strike one. Herrera, a switch hitter. And this ball's fouled off, so he's in a ditch 0-2. Johnny 7 for his last 17 at the plate.
You know, and interesting to me, defensively right now, their play were, until there were 2 strikes on him, playing very close in on the corners. Surprised me a little bit. In respect, I haven't seen Johnny try to bunt the baseball for base hits an awful lot.
Well, the only reason he might with David Ortiz over at first base, a guy that hasn't played much over there, just one other time this year against the Phillies. We'll go ahead and pull one, get it past the pitcher.
As you said, Huey, just his second start at first base all year. Was that you I was standing with during batting practice? Said I didn't even know he had a first baseman's glove.
Yeah, I was watching him play catch.
He's playing catch with his son. This ball's lined down the left field line. Get down, it will. And Johnny takes a wide turn. He's going to hold at first. Pretty good throw by Daniel Nava. So a leadoff single, good at bat for Herrera. Time for our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. Do the Red Sox have the most passionate fans in the American League? Text Rocks 1 for yes, residents of Red Sox Nation. If you think no, it's Rocks 2. They're loud and proud. Show this text at Breaks Plus for an oil change and filter, tires, tire change, I should say, and set of front wiper blades, all for $50 this month. Helton had a quality swing there. It's 0-1. Rockies, when they score first, are 18-5 at home. Outside.
Part of Todd's success against the East Coast, because it was against the Yankees as well as against Boston. All you read about is and hear about, it seems like, on national news circuit, the Boston Red Sox. And Todd's career average in 10 games versus Boston, 342.
Good numbers.
I want to prove to the East Coast a little bit. Hey, you know what? They play baseball west of the Mississippi, and there's some pretty good teams out here.
I was talking to Terry Francona yesterday, and one of the questions I asked him, his thoughts on the Rockies, and he said, from what I've seen and from what our scouts have seen leading into this series, in a good division, the Rockies have the most talent. He said, I know they've been nicked. That's in their 1 and 2. But he had actually great respect for all the players in that other dugout. Well, Todd Helton, we told you, had a home run against John Lackey back in 2006 in Anaheim. Here it is, straight away. Two balls, 2 strikes on Todd. Johnny Herrera here in the third, a leadoff single. Smith led off the second inning with a triple to left center field. 2 pitches later, Miguel Olivo hit one in the seats. There's Cargo getting ready. And this is a line drive, base hit to center field. And Herrera will stop at second. 2 on for Carlos Gonzalez. Or John Lackey in that start, in which he beat the Rockies. He went 8 innings, gave up just 3 runs on 4 hits. The final score was 5-4 that night.
Cargo with that double in his first at bat against Mr. Lackey, a drive into left center field, yet they still shade him in center. McDonald is a little bit to right center or second base.
And this is smoked to center field. Here's Herrera And he'll stop at third. It's just hit too hard. It just was hit flat too hard, Jeff.
You know what? That ball didn't get higher than about 15 feet because it was right on the line. And all you could do as a base runner is just see it over the head of the infielder and then just advance one base. But by the time Lackey turned around, Darnell McDonald was about ready to pick this ball up on one hop. That's how hard it was hit.
And by the way, true to the statement that Carlos Gonzalez made in recent days about hitting in the 3-hole and not changing his approach, Jeff Houston, he hasn't changed his approach one iota.
No, he's going to see a first pitch fastball or a pitch that he likes early in the count. He's going to swing. He's not a guy that's going to go up there and really work the count. He will if he has to, but he's not going to see 5 or 6 pitches in at bat. That's just not him. So why deviate from your game plan, your strength, just because you're hitting somewhere else in the order?
Here's Hop, and he takes strike one. Bases loaded, nobody out for the Rockies. They're already up 2-0.
First time Hop this year has had the opportunity with the bases loaded. The Rockies, as a team, have not hit well with the bases loaded.
This ball is straight to second. Pedroia bobbles, only will get one at first. A nice break for the Rockies, an RBI for Hop. Second and third, one out. It's 3-0 Colorado. 26th RBI for Hop.
And a ball hit very hard by Hop on a curveball that just stayed to the outer half of the plate but down, and he was able to get the head on. You see it on the Hyundai cam that he had stayed right on that outer half of the plate. Brad reached out to get it. Ball was hit extremely hard. Only result an out at first, but a run across for the Rockies. It's now 3-0.
And Seth Smith, who tripled to left center his first time up. Smith's triple, the 23rd produced by Colorado this year. That's the most in the National League. Way inside. Now, this is a situation, fellas, where the Rockies have an opportunity to put up a crooked number.
It's something that's really been their nemesis all year long, is to add on whenever you've got a pitcher on the ropes, especially a guy like Lackey. Tack some more on.
Down the line foul. Exactly, Jeff, because there have been many opportunities this year for the Rockies with an early lead of a run or 2 runs, you know, to make it really lopsided. And obviously with that guy, you don't need very many typically, but it'd be nice to throw up one of those crooked numbers for a change. And they're seeing the ball very well, obviously, against Lackey. 4 bullets in this inning.
I just think their approach has been just almost textbook. What do you want to try to do? Stay centered. And you think about all the hits right now, you haven't seen one pulled down the lines. Maybe Johnny Herrera with the little flare over to left. But besides that, it's been line drives from left center field to right center field.
And this ball is lined to deep left field. It's going to be cut off by Nava. It'll score a run easily. And going second and third is Cargo. I think they moved Nava about 3 or 4 steps defensively after the first at bat by Smith, and that may have saved another double or triple.
Now the ball hit hard enough, obviously, to get Todd Helton across the plate and make it a 4-0 ball game. But he was able to make a move on the ball, reach up for it, catch it, and his only option, third base. Beltre trying to put a little deke on Cargo, and then the ball flipped away from him.
And Miguel Olivo, who hit a 2-run bomb in the second inning, is up again with Cargo at third base. This is fouled up, back over our heads. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast, second inning, Miguel Olivo with his 10th of the year. He's hitting well over 400 at Coors Field. That's off the plate, 2-1. 2-2. This is Tommy Runnels' reaction when Miguel Olivo hit that home run back in the second inning.
Oh, he got him! He and I had a long talk this morning about staying over here in an RBI situation. He said, because they never throw me in. That boy's pretty great. He'd be out of boy.
Well, they threw him in. They wish they didn't.
Well, I think, too, for Tommy Reynolds, the enthusiasm you see in his dugout, rubs off on these players. You're talking about a long-time guy after having a shot in the big leagues as a coach and a manager at a short stint in Montreal. Had worked his way back through the ladders again. In Tulsa 2 or 3 years, in Colorado Springs as a manager there. Now he's got a chance on a winning club. He's excited to put on a uni and walk into a big league ballpark every day.
He brings a ton of energy on a daily basis. You're right. 4-0 lead for Ubaldo. Report is brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Here again, Alana Rizzo.
All right, Drew, thanks very much. Chris Nelson, Rockies infielder, earned his first major league hit yesterday. We're still getting to know him a little bit. And in fact, there's a bit of confusion as to where he's actually from. In several publications, it's listed that he was born in Escondido, California. That is absolutely false. He was born in Washington, D.C., and he actually grew up in Decatur, Georgia. And I asked him about that today. I said, where did that come from? He said, I have absolutely no idea. My family and I just shake our head every time we see it on television or we read about it. I go, have you ever even been to Escondido? He goes, I've never even been to Esposito. Guys, he didn't even know how to say Escondido or exactly what the city was that people said he was born from. He's born in D.C., raised in Decatur, Georgia, and that is where he would like to be known that he is from. So I'm clearing up the confusion. D.C., Georgia, no California, guys.
Yeah, I chatted with him about that as well today. And sometimes, you know, gathering information on a player, somehow it gets scrambled over time. And he's a Georgia kid, though, and that has become one of the real hotbeds for scouts.
Well, the reason being, Drew, is that the Braves got hot about that time, and all these kids grew up down there wanting to be like the Braves.
Yeah. I think that's part of it. I think you're right.
On the other side of it, the team down there, the amateur team, they bring in an awful lot of players.
East Cobb.
It's not just Georgia players. They bring a lot in from all over the country, so they get the exposure along with a lot of those kids out of Georgia.
Pedroia fouls off that 3-2 pitch. He struck out his first time up. Dustin Pedroia never got to play in the College World Series at Arizona State. ASU eliminated last night, but he played on some very good teams there, and he fouls that pitch off. In fact, we were chatting today about his ASU teams. He hit leadoff, and in the 3-hole was Andre Ethier.
Well, think also who he ran off from there, too. Ian Kinsler.
That's right. That's a base hit up the middle. Second hit for the Red Sox, and that'll bring up Victor Martinez. Take a look at our Geico quote of the day. From Yaz. Ed, you're the second best umpire in the league. The other 23 are tied for first. That's a great one. To Ed Runge.
And of course his son Brian Runge and his son Brian Runge all have umpired the big leagues.
Victor Martinez hit a ground ball to Helton his first time up. And the heater inside, ball one. Ubaldo has struck out 3 in the ball game. The only other hit was a bloop single by Darnell McDonald to left field. And that one gets away also. 2-0.
Well, the first 12,500 through the gates come out to the ballpark June 24th. They're going to receive a Coors Light cooler bag. 21 and over will receive that, the first 12,500.
Martinez, a very accomplished hitter. This year, he's hitting far better against lefties. He's off the chart against lefties, hitting .463, just .220 from this side of the plate.
Well, he struggled out on the road, too. .240 at home. He's hit .328. Which leveled out at .290 when he came into today's ball game.
What a tough spot he had to come into, though, really, because Jason Varitek's been the heart and soul of the Red Sox for such a long time. And Varitek's kind of taken him under his wing, too, and really helped him out.
And that's high, 3-1. So back-to-back 3-ball counts for Ubaldo.
You know, Jeff, Varitek's gotten into 29 ball games, 80 at bats. He's still very productive for the limited amount of time. 7 home runs and 12 RBIs.
It's pretty nice to have that backup on your bench.
No kidding. An all-star.
And a line drive, base hit for Martinez. Hop up with the baseball. It'll keep Pedroia from going first to third. And 2 on, nobody out. That's the velocity this inning, George, down just a tick.
Well, still up to 95 miles an hour. The last one, pretty good hitting fastball team, too. And if it straightens out and stays in the zone long enough, I think some things can happen.
That'll bring up Big Pappy.
What we've seen from Ubaldo this season is the ability, when he does have a little bit of traffic out there, to get that ground ball double play. And a perfect guy, if David Ortiz hits it onto the ground to get that. Be interesting to see what pitch he starts him out with, George, because he started him off with a curveball his first time up that he popped up.
Well, I would think that, and again, in a hitter's mind, I'm trying to crawl in there, which you do as a pitcher. He's probably thinking heater. See if he goes to the split, try to turn a double play. Went fastball, missed at 97.
See, David Ortiz, most of his career has been spent as a designated hitter, just his second start at first base this year. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. So 1-0 count on Ortiz. The Rockies up 4-0, top of inning number 4. And that's high at 97, 2-0. Ubaldo had pinpoint control in the first 3 innings. Several deep counts here in this inning. That's Beltre on deck. Well, he was sitting on the fastball. He got it. He was tardy with the swing, Huey.
Well, it's going to happen when it's 97 with a little bit of movement. You talk about pitches per inning, 15 being the magical number, already 16 in this inning, but he's only a couple pitches away from being out of it with ground ball double play, and they get Beltre early into the count.
David Ortiz, a tough April. And in May, he was the player of the month in the American League. He had 10 home runs for the Red Sox in May. Waldo taking a lot more time each pitch. And that's in there for a strike.
Not anticipating the off-speed pitch. Ortiz could not adjust to a changeup at 89 after he'd just seen 95, 96, and 98. Mile-an-hour fastball. It's the split finger thrown for a strike. He gave up on the pitch completely.
Great shot from the Hyundai cam, showing that split grip. The way it just comes out of the hand.
The baseball in his hands looks like a golf ball.
And when you have the long fingers the way Jimenez has, it really helps you throw the split.
Here's the 2-2. 3-2. Waldo this inning, doesn't he? He does seem, and he's got traffic obviously, but he does seem like he's slowed down quite a bit in terms of his pace.
Slowed down the pace a little bit, a couple of hits. I mean, who knows, yesterday when he did leave, didn't feel well. You could have a reoccurrence as you start to exercise the body. I mean, a number of things came into it. A couple of guys hit the ball hard, but the 1-3 ball count in the first 10 batters faced. Now he's had 3 in a row.
And the 3-2 on the ground foul.
The advantage umpire straddling it. You can tell pretty quickly when that ball got beyond. Helton just exercising a little bit.
David Ortiz was kind of mumbling to himself after that one because he thought that was a pitch he should have hit and kept fair.
Herrera swung over in the hole and struck third. Ortiz has gone out number 1 in the 4th. That's a big one right there.
We're going to have to see on the replay, was this a swing or a called strike? Because David Ortiz was caught in between.
97 miles an hour, but it was put in a very perfect spot to that outside corner. And with that late tail a lot of times, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a pretty good pitch on his part, and I think Ortiz offered it to baseball.
I think you're right, Fraze. I think it's a strike both ways. Now Adrian Beltre steps in. He hit the ball on one hop to Clint Barmes. He got jammed his first time up. Soft line drive, one hopper up the middle that Barmes threw him out. Pedroia at second, Martinez at first. Back-to-back singles.
Tough guy to get out in this situation. I mean, nearly a 400 average with runners in scoring position. That leads the American League. But as we discussed earlier, I went next door and asked Jerry Remy, can you compare him to anybody in the American League? No, I can't. So Adrian Beltre doesn't get to face guys like this, although he faced Roy Halladay when he was in the Interleague Series in Philadelphia.
Strike on Beltre. A moment ago, Jeff Houston, Todd Helton off camera jogged over to Johnny Herrera and they exchanged some words about something. Do you have any guess as to what that would be about?
Just to make sure that Pedroia is not trying to steal signs. Just make sure, because he's a veteran guy. He's a middle infielder himself.
This is a pop up to shallow center. Herrera will backpedal. That's the second out.
So I'm sure that's what Todd was saying to him. Hey, keep your eye on him. Don't get, if anything, make sure he's not giving location. Todd, being the veteran leader that he is out there, with Troy being gone, reminding the youngster, hey, These are the little things that you have to watch with a veteran guy like Pedroia out there.
Talked to a couple different hitting instructors this year about that subject, Jeff, and I think in your era and George's era, it was done more frequently. The folks I've talked to said, you know, you don't see as much of it where hitters want to know, where hitters, base runners really work to steal catcher signs.
I don't know why they wouldn't. I agree. It's probably not as much as it used to be.
Big swing and a miss from Nava.
But if I can have an idea with a guy like Ubaldo Jimenez out on the mound, especially location, not necessarily pitch, but give me some location, that's going to help me out a little bit at least. And I'm going to try to take any advantage I can when the league's hitting 189 against this guy.
They answered my question. Would you rather no pitch or no location?
Location.
That's what Don Baylor said. And he said, if I knew the pitch, if I knew that it was inside, I mean, you eliminate everything, but it's going to be a heater.
And here's the other side of that, though.
0-2.
I think, and this is not a knock, but we'll take it either way you want to. I think there was guys, because of the four-man rotations when Jeff and I were playing a lot, the location, pitchers had better control there than you see now today, too. So they did hit the location. When you knew the location, look away, they pretty much were out there.
That's a great point, George.
A lot more walks in today's game because of the amount of the home runs hit, the power in the bats. Guys, not that many strike throwers.
0-2, 2 on, 2 outs. Daniel Nava. And he didn't bite at the hard curveball. 1-2. Nava made decent contact his first time up. Hit a line drive to left. Josh Reddick's on deck. Baldo doesn't want to see him till next inning. 4-0 Colorado. Here's the 1-2. And this ball is looped to right center field. It's going to score at least one. Hop's got to go to the wall. A green light from Martinez, and he's going to score. A 2-run double for Daniel Nava, and Boston's back in this ball game. He went back to the breaking ball, and it kind of stayed up in the hitting zone.
Well, this young hitter has done a pretty nice job for Boston, hitting .355 coming in, a home run, 7 RBIs. Here's the spinner on the Hyundai cam. You're right, Drew. That ball hung and contact made about belt high. Not the type of breaking ball you want to throw. And then when he hit this ball, I think he had a lot of top spin, Jeff, because I didn't think it would carry this far.
I thought Brad was going to be able to cut it off a lot sooner to try to keep Victor Martinez from scoring. But that, as you're right, that had top spin and just kept going. You know, Baldo's mad at himself because he hung it. I think if he buries it, he swings right over the top of it.
Ubaldo with the lowest earned run average. Ubaldo does, and all-time at Coors Field, 322, was cruising along for 3 innings, and all of a sudden they put a dot on the board on him. I think he's tough with nobody on. Guys get in this position, they've hit $150 against Ubaldo. Well, that number's going to jump a little bit with that last base hit.
1-1 on Reddick.
And unfortunately, Drew, we talked about the pitch count being so low coming into this inning, but because of the base hits, because of the 3-ball counts, the pitch counts climbed up a little bit to 63 here in the 4th.
And that goes all the way to the backstop. I don't know if that broke Miguel's glove or not. That thing looked like it went through the webbing.
Well, I think what he was trying to do is he was going to backpick with Clint Barmas to try to get Nava at second base. The Hyundai cam will show the way he comes out of his crouch and goes to fire, but you know what? He forgot to catch the baseball first. That's what it was, and it goes all the way back to the backstop.
And he's dead to right, Jeff, at second if he's able to pick that, because there was a huge lead out at second base.
You know, the Rockies have been able to give Boston life here in the 4th inning. And I don't know for sure, this is pure speculation, but this is as deliberate as we've seen Ubaldo all year, and obviously hasn't dealt with much traffic throughout this 2010 season. But I wouldn't be surprised if what you said earlier, George, is not somewhat true. Whatever was, bothering him yesterday, the flu bug, bad cold.
Well,
if there's a degree of fatigue all of a sudden.
That and the fact that once you start to exercise the body, a lot of times that flu bug can come back on you.
Again, far more deliberate than we've seen him all year. A couple pitches, you saw the hand on the knees. And he gets rid of it. So Nalva, who drives in two, the double left and third, with Boston back in the ballgame. It's 4-2, middle of four. Padaka visiting with Ubaldo Jimenez in the Rockies dugout. Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, and so Ubaldo reached for a helmet. He's up third this inning. And Stewart, a lot of empty swings right now, Jeff.
Well, and to me, it looks like that front side's coming out a little bit. I was talking to Don Baylor before the ball game. I said, what are you trying to get Ian to do? And he said, make sure that head stays a little bit more calm and in the zone a little bit longer.
He has had an inordinate number of two-strike counts, 0-2 counts.
And he's missing a lot of fastballs. That's the other thing that's really alarming, because everybody that comes to the big leagues can hit the fastball. Sometimes it's a breaking pitch that'll give you problems, but right now Ian's not even hitting the fastball.
Lackey will do that. He'll come in, and David Ortiz tags out Glenn Allen Hill, but yeah, you can't get an out on a guy that's retired. Changed the rule a few years ago. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Curveball missed. 1-2. Rockies have won 4 of 5. They won last night 2-1. Chacin getting the victory over John Lester. 2-2. And this ball is laced to right. Reddick cuts it off, and Stewart's going to go for 2, and he Great throw by Josh Reddick. Right on the money to Marco Scudero.
Well, being aggressive on the base pass, but a little bit too aggressive costs you. I mean, you got a laid-off single, you're up 2 runs. No reason to force the issue here, but I think he just wanted to test the arm to see what could happen. Coming out of the box, it didn't appear that he was going to try to turn this into a double. But as the ball got caught by Reddick, the arm was shown off. That's why he's in right field. This ball one-hopped right into the bag and easy to tag by Scudero.
Clint Barnes hits one to deep left field. This one's off the wall. And a good job by Darnell McDonald. If not for Darnell McDonald hustling about 60 yards, that's a triple for Barnes.
And I misread the ball in left field. It was good hustle by McDonald because the ball was really misread bad. Unfortunately for Clint Barnes, he ends up with a double. This ball left the bat. You'll see it's a slider that stayed out away from Barnes. He was able to extend the arms with kind of a stop and go type approach to go back on the baseball versus going back and getting after the baseball. Clint realizing that ball flipping off of the wall, coasted into second base. You know, if you had that magic ball, Jeff, you'd have known if you're insured to sit still, huh?
Stop. You'd have second and third right now and nobody out.
Well, Ubaldo hit the ball very hard his first time up. A line shot that Reddick came again a couple steps and made a catch on. Ubaldo jumps out of the way. It's a strike though, 1-1.
We're talking about Ubaldo. I watched him come into the dugout after that last half inning, and Scotty Garrett went up to him, the assistant trainer here, just tried to offer him a little bit of water, but there was nothing in that conversation from my vantage point where it looked like he was saying anything about his health, which is a good sign.
Would you concur, though, that he has been more deliberate tonight?
Definitely. I would agree with both of your assumptions and observations, I should say, that, he really slowed the pace of the game down.
And not so much, the first 3 innings he was lights out, but it was noticeably different in that 4th inning. I say it not just because the hits. The fastball was down a couple of ticks, and he just looked like he was laboring a little bit. 3-2 on Jimenez. Barnes at second. And a base hit to right. Barnes is going to test the arm now with Reddick, and that throw is on line. Barnes got to get to the plate. And he does. Ubaldo to second. It's 5-2. I don't think he touched initially. And Victor Martinez got hit hard.
There's really no place for Clint to go. Well, the way the throw took Martinez up the line, there had to be a collision.
Third RBI for Ubaldo. That line drive to right field. And I think it's more the spinning of his arm on his throwing arm. I tell you what, Reddick's got a cannon. Put it right on the money. And as he went to go tag, his feet wrapped up into the arm. And then Barnes comes back and tags. On the Hyundai cam, watch right here as the ball hits off the glove. Barnes' momentum's going to take that right elbow in his face and just spinning all the way around. Never touched home plate on the first pass through.
I might have got his shoulder, his wrist a little bit when he yanked that body so far through it. And then Lackey was right there, and Clint with the hustle. And let's give a little heads up to Jonathan Herrera to tell Clint to go back and tag the bag, too.
Ron Culpa, fellas, Clint didn't touch home plate, but Culpa gave the safe sign. Watch this angle. Watch Ron Culpa. There's the collision, and the ball's free. Culpa sees that safe. But a smart move by Barnes. He realized he had touched home plate.
Let's not forget about the base running, too. Not only the base hit by Ubaldo, but then taking second on the throw. Now he's in scoring position.
Johnny Herrera got a couple hits in the series, including one last inning. He singled and scored. I'm looking up and down this lineup. Every player in the Rockies lineup has squared a ball up against John Lackey. And in the case of Carlos Gonzalez, he squared it up twice. Pedroia will throw out Herrera. Ubaldo to third with 2 outs for Todd Helton. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Most wins in the big leagues since Jim Tracy took over. The Yankees have 120. The Angels 113. The Rockies next on that list, a game in front of Boston. Outside the box brought to you by Jack in the Box. Helton tonight 1 for 2. Lackey's pitch count, 4 innings, Frage, now in the mid-70s.
Well, how about this? 35 pitches in the first 3 innings and 28 so far in this inning.
Must be something about this 4th inning for both pitchers.
And this kicks away. Ubaldo, though, is the runner at third. I'll tell you what, he's so competitive and he's such a good athlete. He thought about it.
Well, I'm glad he rethought.
I'm glad he did also.
You know, I'll take the arm. Let's not be the good athlete all you want to be, but slam the brakes and go back, all right? Well, I say you need to have a head on at home plate.
Would have been interesting if Richie Dowry could have caught him and tackled him.
Not allowed, though.
I don't think that's allowed. 2-0 for Helton.
Well, Dustin Richardson is warming up in their bullpen.
What's interesting for me is the alignment. Darnell McDonald is playing about 3 steps to the right of center field, and usually Helton is shaded the other way. They're playing him like a pull hitter, and typically that's not what he does. Sprays the ball around. Check swing, and Beltre throws out Helton in the inning. Barmes double, and Ubaldo brings him around. It's 5-2 Colorado. (16th Street Mall). Call 303-571-1114 and ask about our hometown sports package. By Dex One Marketing Solutions Business Results. And by Larry H. Miller Nissan, driven by you. 5-2 Colorado, top of 5. Ubaldo Jimenez and John Lackey. The Rockies have hit Lackey hard. Jimenez cruised through the first 3 innings and then gave up a 2-run, 2-out double on a 1-2 pitch to Daniel Nava last inning. He'll get Darnell McDonald out of the 8-hole, who had a bloop single to begin things here in the 5th. Red Sox begin the day in 2nd place in the very competitive American League East, tied with Tampa, a game and a half behind the Yankees. The Rockies began the day 4 back of San Diego in 4th place, a game behind the Dodgers, 2.5 behind the Giants. And right now, it's now a final. Just went final. The Padres, George, again beat Tampa 5-4.
Beat a very good team.
In
a
Tampa.
Very good team.
Here's the 1-0 to McDonald. That fastball in there at 94.
4 ground ball outs, 3 fly balls, 5 strikeouts for Ubaldo. His career high 13 punch outs.
1-2 on Darnell, who, when he got called to the big leagues from Pawtucket by Boston, in his first plate appearance, he had a home run, and later in that ball game, he had the game-winning hit. Pretty fancy debut for Darnell. Then he homered the next day. Pops this one up shallow right. Herrera showing a lot of range. Makes the play. He's a professional ball catcher. That's what Jim Tracy likes to say about Johnny Herrera and Omar Quintanilla. Take a look at our AT&T trivia question with John Lackey coming up. Which pitcher owns the Major League Baseball record for the most wins entering an All-Star break? Ubaldo in search of win number 14. And we're still a couple weeks from the All-Star game, the All-Star break.
I was trying to look the other day. I said Denny McClain, the last 30-game winner, won 31 ball games, but he had like 41 starts in it. It was something stupid. I mean, that's when you had 3-man, 4-man rotations. A lot of times off days, so you'd go in 3 days rest. You get out and pitch again. It's a pretty amazing feat of what he accomplished.
The 1-2 ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. Garmis is not going to be able to throw out Lackey. He couldn't come up with a baseball, so Lackey reaches.
Well, this was close to being another spectacular play by Clint Barmas. Right up the middle, he gets a jump on it, dives, and then as he tries to spin and get that ball barehanded, he just can't find the handle of it. Because if he comes up with it, even if it comes out when it came out of his glove, he was still going to be able to get Lackey.
Take a look at today's Quest high-speed pitch, brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Rockies. Ubaldo twice has hit 100. And Lackey's not exactly a soft tosser. Helton will play behind Lackey, and that pitch is outside on Marcos Scutaro. 0 for 2 for Scutaro, a strikeout and a ground ball to Barmas. Every baseball player has a story, and Scutaro, his story is one of perseverance. He was once a player to be named later in a trade, which is not always real flattering. This is a soft fly ball. It's going to drop in front of Smith, and now they're 2 on again. And Scutaro was waived 2 other times before getting his feet underneath him in Oakland. Dustin Pedroia up. Let's take a look at our Dex One This Date in History. Dex One Marketing Solutions, business results. Back on this date, 1981, in the longest professional baseball game ever played, the AAA Pawtucket Red Sox defeat the Rochester Red Wings 3-2. 33 innings, took a couple of days to get that win in. 8 hours and 25 minutes of baseball. Cal Ripken Jr., Wade Boggs played in that one.
Right now, the second career hit for Lackey, and at the top of this lineup, things could get pretty dangerous if you allow anything to carry on or build on this.
Quickly a 2-strike count, and also quickly at Wimbledon right now, there's a tennis match that's going on in that lane. During the 5th set, John Isner, Nicholas Mahut over 3 days.
10 hours or something like that.
It's 59-59 or something like that in the 5th set. Longest match in history. 1-2 on Pedroia. strike through. Painted the outside corner at 96.
A little displeasure shown towards Culpa, too. As he looks into the dugout, there's a little bit of disagreement coming from everyone, not just Pedroia. Second time he's punched him out, and again, pitcher's pitch. I don't know what you argued about. It's right on the block outside corner. It's just one of those pitches at 96 that's unhittable.
That's what you're arguing about as a hitter. You're just trying to say, you know what, I couldn't hit it, so I'm going to take my displeasure out on you.
Victor Martinez singled his last time up. 2 on and 2 out. 6 punch outs for Jimenez. And that's over at 97. Boston had their 6-game winning streak snapped last night with the Rockies' 2-1 victory. And this ball is popped up. Long run for Cargo. He'll get there. 2 hits, no damage. Middle of 5. Rockies 5, Red Sox 2.
You see what the hitter tried to do? He saw him. Yeah, he tried to shoot the hole. The thing about it is, Barney doesn't need to go that early.
Yeah, as a hitter, if you see that shortstop moving that soon, especially for a left-handed hitter guy, he starts to move a little bit too soon, then you just try to work your hands inside the ball and hit it that way. Because if he leaves his spot, all of a sudden your eyes light up saying, wow, I got a huge hole over there, especially with 2 outs. Ubaldo was struggling a little bit out on the hill because he'd already given up a couple runs. You understand you're trying to get the guy, help the guy out a little bit, but you can't vacate your spot.
All right, Jeff, 5-2 Colorado. 1-0 the count on Carlos Gonzalez, a double and a single against John Lackey. And that ball's pulled foul. Gonzalez doubled to left center and hit a ball so hard to center field that Johnny Herrera, who was on second, could not score. And Herrera runs well. Tom Hallion says no swing. 2-1. Gonzalez, Brad Hopp, Seth Smith this inning.
Sorry, Drew, that takes a lot of strength to hold up on that high fastball and not swing.
And this is cued to Beltre. Here's the AT&T trivia question and answer. Which pitcher owns the big league record for most wins entering the All-Star break? Wilbur Wood is the answer. The old White Sox back in 1973. Here's the list of guys who won a lot of games entering the All-Star break. Fight a Blue 17. Brad Hopkins is on the line, but it's right at Daniel Nava.
And again, Wood finished. Now listen to what I'm telling you. 359 innings pitched that year. 24 and 20, 346 on run average over that span. And all these guys you see at the All-Star break with 17, 18, 16 wins, they all started to talk about Denny McLain's record and what could happen. Who's going to be the next 30-game winner?
Look at how many decisions he has, though, George, before the break.
That was because there were four-man bullpens.
Well, I know, but just 18 and 14.
That's a strike on Seth Smith. Here's something else. Since expansion and when the season went to 162 games, there have been 11 pitchers to win at least 14 games before the end of June. If Baldo wins tonight, he'll be at 14. He's got another start still in the month of June. Vida Blue won 16 and 71, and then it drops down to the number 14. Pedro Martinez, John Smoltz, Roger Clemens. Some big names on that list, as you just saw. Juan Marichal, Gaylord Perry, Sandy Koufax, Whitey Ford.
Hall of Famers.
Yeah, the best there's been.
We did it for a period of time, but 349 innings pitched in a season. Judy, you know the funny thing about Wilbur Wood's record of 18 wins? He didn't make the All-Star team.
That's something else. 1, 2, 3 innings for Lackey. That's a first tonight. As we go quickly to the Rockies dugout, Jim Tracy kind enough to join us. Trace Ubaldo, we expect such great things every time out, and he was electric the first 3 innings. Did he slow down a little bit? He seemed a little more deliberate in that 4th inning. Did it have anything to do with being under the weather?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, as you replay the 4th inning, Drew, you look at a very, very good at-bat that Dustin Pedroia took off of him. You know, he got into a bad count with Victor Martinez where he could sit hard, and he got hard and lined the ball to right field. And the Nava at-bat, he has him in a position to put him away, Drew, and he hangs a breaking ball, and that accounts for the 2 runs that they've got.
All right, Trace, we appreciate it as always. Good luck the rest of the way.
Tell George I said hi up there.
We'll do it.
See ya.
Welcome back to Coors Field. The Rockies, as we go to the 6th inning, leading 5-2 behind Ubaldo Jimenez. We go quickly to the Rockies dugout. Jim Tracy kind enough to join us. Trace Ubaldo, we expect such great things every time out, and he was electric the first 3 innings. Did he slow down a little bit? He seemed a little more deliberate in that 4th inning. Did it have anything to do with being under the weather?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, as you replay the 4th inning, Drew, you look at a very, very good at-bat that Dustin Pedroia took off of him. he got into a bad count with Victor Martinez where he could sit hard, and he got hard and lined the ball to right field. And the Nava at bat, he has him in a position to put him away, Drew, and he hangs a breaking ball, and that accounts for the 2 runs that they've got.
All right, Trace, we appreciate it as always. Good luck the rest of the way.
Tell George I said hi up there.
I'll do it.
See ya.
He is one of a kind, Jim Tracy. 1 out on the fly ball off the bat of David Ortiz. And this is Adrian Beltre. He's 0 for 2 tonight against Jimenez. He gets a slurve, if you will. 0-1. Let's take a look at the Amica hit zone. Amica, it's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated. And Beltre has not treated the baseball well. He has hit all quadrants of the strike zone this year and hard. 11-game hitting streak coming in, hitting .395 during that stretch. He's got a 15-game interleague hit streak going. Here's the 0-2. See ya.
I don't think so, Drew.
Well, I like to punch those.
I know you do. But they went with that high fastball, and Lance Barksdale, they kind of looked down there, but he wasn't going to do anything, call him out.
Look out. And Jimenez wanted to come in. He came too far in. 95 around the hip region.
Better there than up high. And he wasn't trying to hit him, obviously. At the count it was. He was just trying to go inside, held on to the baseball a little too long.
Now Daniel Nava. Even Red Sox Nation until about a week ago were saying, who?
Huh?
Yeah. And Daniel Nava been on base in all 10 ball games he's played for the Red Sox. He has a 2-run double already tonight. And he just stroked another double, it looks like. Beltre is going to turn third, and he's going to score. Standing up. Daniel Nava has all 3 RBIs tonight against Ubaldo Jimenez, and for just the second time this year, Jimenez gives up 3 runs in a game. And remember, the other time was in a torrential downpour at Coors Field a couple of weeks ago.
Well, from the Hyundai cam, you see that was just a 4-seam fastball that Nava goes down and gets and has that top spin. And you kind of wonder why a guy like a swing like Daniel had a tough time even getting into pro ball.
Now, where were they scouting him? In Nome, Alaska?
Right.
Holy cow.
He was an independent ball again a couple of years ago. Reddick fooled. 0-1. Reddick a ground out and a strikeout. 6 strikeouts tonight for Jimenez. He had an electric start. In the first inning, he hit 100 a couple of times. He struck out Scudero and Pedroia to begin things and got a weak ground ball from Victor Martinez. He had a 1-2-3 second inning. Here's the 0-2.
Got a fluke hit by McDonald. I mean, first 9 batters did nothing. Nope.
When your ERA is 1.15, that misses. Your ERA is going to go up if you give up 1 run in 8 innings.
Up to 135 right now.
And the strikeout of Reddick. Number 7. Ubaldo, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Darnell McDonald with first base open.
On the Hyundai cam, you can see the pitch come right out of the hand of Ubaldo. That split-fingered fastball that just dives at the very end. Hitters, particularly I think Jeff, left-handed hitters. So you see guys that are right-handed predominantly throw the split to left-handed batters because they like the ball down.
Right, and it acts like a fastball coming out of the hand, and so you're able to turn it over, kind of work it away from them a little bit. We've seen Ubaldo tonight throw a lot more split fingers and fewer straight changeups.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember a straight change.
The only one that I remember is he gave up a base hit earlier in the ball game to Pedroia, 88 miles an hour changeup. Maybe that's why he put it in his back pocket.
In the air to deep left center field. And this one is gone. Darnell McDonald had just tied it up. What a homecoming for McDonald. It's 5-5 now in the sixth.
Toward strike zone, you'll see this pitch come to the inner half of the plate at 96 miles an hour. McDonald opens that front side up and gets great extension on the ball into left center. You can see their dugout thought it was out of the park when it left the bat. Whole new ball game here in the sixth.
And Olivo had just gone out to talk to Jimenez because you had the pitcher's spot on deck and first base was open. But, you know, it's Ubaldo Jimenez. With all due respect to Darnell McDonald and every other guy that hits in the 8-hole, you like that matchup.
Two outs, absolutely what you're talking about. You think you can go get him. Here's a guy that struggled all the way through. And, you know, then all of a sudden he comes up and hurts you with a blue pit, and now this big ball. Man, oh man.
Now this audience is in shock. Another sellout crowd at Coors Field. You give Ubaldo 5, it's typically all over. And this ball's well hit by Lackey. John Lackey has 2 hits. And Ubaldo is laboring here in the 6th inning. And now he's got to deal with a position player, Marco Scudero, with the go-ahead run at second base. Mentioned earlier that John Lackey, though he's been an American League player his entire career, was originally a position player in college, and then when he transferred from UTA, University of Texas Arlington, he was a junior college first baseman. He learned to pitch in the Jayhawk League in summer ball.
And All-American in junior college.
Right. I mean, this guy was a hitter. And Houston Street may be making his 2010 debut at some point tonight.
Oh, definitely, because this next pitch is going to be a number 100 for Ubaldo.
Due up fourth for the Rockies in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Just the 4th home run allowed all year by Ubaldo Jimenez. Darnell McDonald. Darnell, a former #1 draft pick. 13 years now in professional baseball, has never reached the stardom that seemed like it was going to be automatic for him. In fact, this is his longest tenure in the big leagues this season with Boston. It's been not even a full cup of coffee at different times, Jeff. It's been sips here and there.
Well, just perseverance, too, somewhat on his part. Just to never give up on that dream. He had a few offers to try to go play football. He said, no, I'm going to try my craft here at baseball, see what happens.
2 runs fouled off, 2-2 on Scudero.
Well, you know what, too, Jeff? A lot of guys sign out of high school. They get the taste of the big leagues. They kind of bounce around a little bit. Most of the ball clubs in this day and age are paying these guys pretty good money. Veteran guys like McDonald to go to AAA. So you're still living your dream with a chance to get up to the big leagues, making $50,000 or $60,000, maybe even more a little year to play at the AAA level.
Big pitch here, 2-2. To the semi-drop down slider, and it was out of the zone. Last time Ubaldo gave up 5 runs in a game, September 15th last year on the road in San Francisco. He had a rough outing that night. He gave up 6 earned and 2 2/3. obviously a lot of Red Sox fans here. And Ubaldo had kept them virtually silent, save that 2-run fourth inning. So that blow by McDonald. And that's a base hit to right. And it's in a position that's going to allow Lackey to score. 6-5 Boston. 10 hits tonight, a season high against Ubaldo Jimenez.
Lackey started a 2-out pitch base hit into left center field. Good pitch by Jimenez, down and away, just kind of a soft serve to right field at 94 miles an hour on the pitch, and just dumps out and so lightly hit that Brad Hopp didn't have a play on Lackey at the plate.
And that will be all for Jimenez. This is the earliest Jim Tracy will have to go get his superstar pitcher. And fellas, I know how proud Ubaldo Jimenez is. And I know what the skipper said last inning. But to me, from the fourth inning on, something wasn't completely right.
Yeah, but how about these fans still giving him a standing ovation?
You better believe it. He's been unreal. 6-5 Boston. In the sixth inning, Boston 6, the Rockies 5. Most hits Ubaldo's given up in a couple of years in a game. For the past few weeks, you've heard us talking about the first no-hitter in Rockies history, Ubaldo Jimenez's bat that is still available for $99.95. However, Ubaldo has agreed to autograph a special signature series of the same bat, and this is limited to only 300 signed bats. The bat will look just like the one we're going to show you in a moment, and it will sell for $324.95. And if you want to purchase the autographed bat, or if you've already purchased the unsigned bat and want to upgrade to the autographed bat, call Big Time Bats at 866-280-BATS or order it on the web at bigtimebats.com. George Frazier has it in his
There's the bat. That's right.
Did you see something? Did you see something different with Ubaldo the last couple innings?
Well, you know, I saw him start to struggle a little bit with his delivery, and a lot of times when he does struggle a little bit, he has a tendency when he jabs back with the hand. He's had that forever. He'll jab a little bit towards the first base side. When he does, then you get off of it. Well, 64 ball games a year ago, 4-1 record, 35 of 37 saves for Mr. Streak, making his first long-awaited appearance in 2010.
Dustin Pedroia takes ball 2. And in the double switch, Ryan Spilborghs is in right field for Brad Hopp. Brad's stunned.
They're not the only ones.
I think everybody is. Other than the Red Sox dugout. And even them, they might be a little bit.
It's a broken bat, foul ball. Houston Street did not throw an inning in spring training. And obviously he is making his 2010 big league debut right now. Everybody wondering when he will close games. That's what he signed on to do, a 3-year lucrative deal in the offseason, and that's where he'll end up. And it may not take long. But as he well knows, it has to be earned.
As it should be.
Two and one on Pedroia. 1 for 3 against Ubaldo. A single in the fourth and a couple of strikeouts. Now, you know, it's a little bit unfair. I'm certainly guilty of it, George. Ubaldo goes out there and he's been so untouchable. He's had a season for the ages already that you expect near perfection. And anytime he does anything like tonight that's somewhat human, you're inclined to think, oh man, what's the matter?
He just had a bad ball game. I mean, that's all. I mean, he faced a very good hitting team here with the Boston Red Sox. And it wasn't that they hit mistakes. Think of the last base hit given up to right field. I mean, it's shoe top high, and the guy just dumps it into right field.
That wasn't even it was really more a couple of innings. That's a balk.
Yep.
On Street. Now he puts another runner in scoring position.
That was an easy one to call for all the umpires. It didn't matter. You could have picked any four that were standing out there, and all of them saw the same thing. Starts to come up and then stops. Just a little bit of a right there.
And he knew it too.
Yep.
That's why he jumped off the backside of the rubber.
In the air to left field. Smith is there. And Street gets the final out of the 6th inning. Rockies with work to do. 4 on the board for Boston. 6-5 Red Sox.
Relationship between Ubaldo Jimenez and David Ortiz of the Red Sox. I talked to Big Papi earlier today about the respect that he has for Jimenez. He said the one thing about Jimenez that he appreciates the most is his respect for other players in the game and for baseball as a game itself. They both grew up in the Dominican Republic. They played against each other in '07 and here tonight. And they also were on the same team for the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. And Ubaldo Jimenez played on Big Papi's golf tournament, won the tournament. I guess he's good at everything, guys, but Big Papi really respects Ubaldo Jimenez, and they have quite the friendship off the field. Guys?
All right, Alana, thanks very much. Ubaldo, typical of Ubaldo, said actually won that golf tournament because his partners were really good. Here's the 1-0 on Olivo. That's in there 1-1. Well, the Rockies should have a great deal of confidence. Not only do they have 5 runs against Lackey on 9 hits, George and Jeff, but they have hit him hard.
There hadn't been any quiet outs in this ball game. I think that's where you'll see Terry Francona get his bullpen going, and that's where you have Del Carmen, that's where you have Okajima, that's where you have Bard in the 8th.
But this is where the offense has to pick up Ubaldo, not let him get saddled with this loss. And he's Done so many great things for the offense this year where all it takes is one run. Well, you know what? Now it's time for them to pick their partner up.
Absolutely. Well put. Now Del Carmen's getting loose. The league hitting just 162 against Manny. Three and 2 on Olivo. And a breaking ball to Scutero. And Big Pappy is a big man. He reached up as high as he could to field that throw. 1 out. That's 6 in a row retired now by John Lackey. The last hit, Ubaldo Jimenez's RBI single in the 4th. Ian Stewart ripped a single to right in the 4th inning, leading off. Tried to stretch it into a double and was cut down by Josh Reddick.
3-3 ball counts for Lackey, though. He's starting to settle in, find the strike zone, keep the ball down in the zone. Well, what was his average run support? 6 at every start this year for John Lackey. High earned run average, 453 when he came into this ball game. There's a ground ball to second base. They retire Stewart.
That'll bring up Barmes with 2 outs. And you got to believe, from Terry Francona's standpoint, he knows he has to get 12 outs. He's gotten Lackey to get the first 2. There are 10 outs left, and he has a very formidable bullpen.
A lot of flamethrowers.
Well, those last couple guys in Bard and Papelbon.
Better tune it up.
Yeah.
Bard hit over 100 numerous times this year coming out of the bullpen. Developed a pretty good slider.
0-2 on Barmes. Just a shocking turn of events in this baseball game.
I just really felt like the air go out of the stadium, especially down here at field level. Just the energy.
And what you don't want to see happen is the air and energy go out of that Rockies dugout, because as much as they're in shock in terms of the fans, we're in shock a little bit up here in the booth. You don't want the 24 other guys in that dugout to be in shock as to, like, what's going on here? This shouldn't happen. Big Pappy and Martinez ran twice as far as Big Pappy did and ended up getting closer to the baseball.
This is one of those that you hear guys in the dugout say, I'm betting on the ball. In other words, there's not going to be the leather to grab this thing.
Right at the last instant, too, Victor Martinez glanced at Big Pappy like, oh, where are you? Instead of going at it the whole way, but he just didn't want to have that collision, that's for sure. Victor Martinez said, I've already had one collision at home. I don't want to have another collision with a guy that's even bigger than Clint Barmes.
And the slider gets Barmes. John Lackey has retired 8 in a row. The Red Sox, as we turn the page to the 7th, have a 6-5 lead. that he was safe. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Camp. 6-5 Boston. Drew Goodman with George Frazier, Jeff Houston, and Alana Rizzo. Victor Martinez out of the 3-hole to face Houston Street, who got the final out of the 6th inning. Jimenez at 5 2/3 gives up 6 earned runs, 10 hits, most he's given up since the 08 season in a ball game. Ubaldo did not walk a batter. He struck out 7. He did hit a batter, and that was the start of the unraveling in the 6th inning. He had 1 out when he hit Adrian Beltre. Then Nava doubled in a run. He struck out Reddick, and Darnell McDonald on the first pitch hit a long home run to left center field to tie it up. And then John Lackey hit a long double to center, and then a punch single to right by Marco Scudero gave Boston their 6th run. And this place has been like a library since. Here's the 1-1 from Houston Street. Houston last year saved 35 of 37 ball games. He's faced the Red Sox a ton in his career in Oakland, and he did it with a sinking fastball, a good changeup, and a slider, and pinpoint control, George.
No question. I mean, it was everything was below the kneecaps, and if you put the ball in place, typically on the ground, not a lot of fly ball outs, doesn't give up the home runs.
We invoked the name Dennis Eckersley phrase on a number of occasions last year. Street was that good and that impeccable with the command.
Well, I think 23 straight, too. 23 1-2-3 inning saves. 1-2-3 outs. Think about that. 23 of those 35 were 1-2-3 innings. That's very impressive.
2-2 on Martinez, and that ball is in the air to right. It'll drop in front of Spilborn. So a leadoff single by Martinez. Well, it's not only having to get after John Lackey and maybe this Boston bullpen in the not too distant future. It's also keeping this great Red Sox lineup at 6. Now, fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 95323. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Here's Poppy, 0 for 3 tonight. He sees a lot of pitches, second in the American League in pitches per at bat at 4.5.
Kind of the theme of their team, though. Pedroia's up there. Euclid, who's not in the lineup, he sees a lot of pitches.
I think good offensive teams, Jeff, wouldn't you concur?
Yeah.
Do that. The Yankees do that.
Yeah, because you work yourself into counts where more favorable to you, 2-0, 3-1s. Not afraid to fall behind, even if it's strike one, to go back 0-1. The other thing it does, too, is it just wears that pitcher out on the mound, too, because he's sitting out there going, man, I'm throwing each guy, it seems like a ton of pitches, and next thing you know, you work that pitch count up, try to get into the middle relief of the bullpens.
That good 6th inning guy, that's what you want to get into. You want to get in the 6th or 7th, and Morales starting to get loose. For the Rockies, 13 pitches in the game for Houston Street.
That's in there, 2-2.
Great location on the Ford strike zone, trying to keep the ball down and away. Was some sink to it, make it as difficult as you can on Big Papi to try to lift something.
The velocity's been pretty good for Street. It's one of the reasons he wasn't activated a couple of weeks ago. Felt like the velocity, the arm strength was still not quite there. Tonight he's been pretty consistent between 90 and 92.
Where he worked most of the time last year. Occasionally we'd see 93, maybe 94, but he sat right around 91, 92 for the most part.
And he strikes out. David Ortiz. One out in the seventh.
0 for 7 now. Ortiz is against Houston Street.
Tonight's E470 Road Ahead is brought to you by E470. Quick, easy, and available to anyone. Test drive it today. Series concludes tomorrow night. Jason Hamill against Daisuke Matsuzaka. Then it's off to Anaheim to see Mike Scioscia's Angels on the weekend. Then a little drive down the 5 to San Diego. And surprising and good Padres. Where they can pitch. Hard on the ground. Smothered by Vargas. There's one on the chairs. Double play. Oh, that quick Vargas. How good has he been?
And they had to work this crowd out. They might be losing, but this might be what they needed to spark too. This double play, 6-5 Red Sox.
It just happened. Vargas down to his left, starting a 6-4-3 double play on Adrian Beltre. Tremendous play. Houston Street fired up. Hopefully gets the offense going. As the Rockies in that last inning. I'm going to give John Lackey some credit, but it looked like the air was out of their dugout a little bit. Spilborgh's first at bat, and he tops it foul. It's 0-2. Spilborgh's came in the double switch when Jimenez was removed for Street. Brad Hopp left the ball game. So it's Spilborgh's at the top of the order. Johnny Herrera, Todd Helton. Lackey is retired 8 in a row.
I think we're starting to see from Lackey now, and really the last couple innings, is he's starting to throw more breaking pitch, more curveballs, more sliders, changeups, compared to early on the ball game when the Rockies were hitting them. They were hitting a lot of fastballs.
His location with that curveball has been pretty good also.
Well, Lackey, a guy not scared to go over 100 pitches in a ball game. 3 starts ago, 124 in a start. He's averaged about 108 per start. He's at 103 now.
Started and won Game 7 of the World Series as a rookie. This is slowly hitting Scudero. And he gets it there in time. Scudero is a guy among shortstops, Jeff, that if you graded his arm, it'd be slightly below average.
Yeah, but he gets rid of it quickly. When he got to this ball, there was not a lot of wasted movement. Came right up to his chest and got rid of it, really in one motion where he just kind of shuffled his feet.
He reminds me, in terms of how quick he gets rid of it, of David Eckstein, who now plays second base for the Padres. He has a better arm the next time, but
Walt Weiss too for Rockies fans.
yeah. Rocky's spoiled by watching Tulowitzki throw 95-mile-an-hour heaters over to first every night.
Well, Nathan Perez before him, a very good arm.
1-0 on Johnny Herrera. Shows bunt. He got the attention of Beltre. Not much on Ortiz.
Good tickets now for the July 3rd fireworks game. Fireworks sponsored by Coca-Cola and King Soopers.
Here's the 2-1 to Herrera. And that ball smoked right at David Ortiz. 2 outs.
That ball caught him and not David catching the ball. He was about 2 steps in front of the bag, about 85 feet away, and that ball was just tattooed right at him.
A little self-defense. Hey, you know, I don't know whose glove this is, but it works pretty good.
Helton trying to break the string. 10 in a row set down by John Lackey. And we're reminded of that theme, at least of the 2010 season through the first 3 months. There's Helton with his second hit of the night, and that does end the run. But this team has struggled to score, particularly in the second half of games. From the 7th inning on, they have the fewest amount of runs in all of baseball. That will be all, by the way, for Lackey. Terry Francona is going to make a double switch. He's going to take out his catcher Martinez unless he's going to get a drink of water. Nobody else is leaving the field.
Now you got a catcher running in from center field with his gear.
Brought to you by the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. Buy steel in your local steel dealers. For a location near you, visit steeldealers.com. By Larry H. Miller Toyota, driven by you. And by King Soopers, our people make the difference. A couple of changes to tell you about Victor Martinez. For the second time this year, is at first base. Big Papi comes out, the veteran. One of the leaders for a number of years of the Red Sox, Jason Veritek's behind the plate. And flame-throwing Daniel Bard is on the hill. Carlos Gonzalez at the plate. Helton is at first with 2 outs in the 7th.
Bard 95, 98 miles an hour with a fastball. That was 100. Slider 81, 86. Electric fastball, and what they say, turbo change. 36 game for him to appear in, 36 innings on the season, 38 strikeouts, just 12 walks.
And Franco fouls it back. That pitch at 99.
Let's take a look how the bullpen is used down there. You'll see Ramirez, Richardson, and Atchison. They'll come out early relief, meaning somewhere between the 4th and 6th. Late relief, Del Carmen, Okajima, and Bard will typically take over in the 8th inning. Here he is in the 7th. There's one thing different in the American League than the National League. You'll see a lot of setup guys go an inning and a third, inning and 2/3, coming out of the bullpen.
And that's why the double switch there, because he wants him to get 4 outs. And here's the changeup, 2-strike changeup, and Fargo covered it. Giambi's on deck. The pitcher spot is the 4-hole right now with the removal of Brad Hopp in the 6th inning. Morales.
You tie it up, Joe Bimel's coming in the ball game. If you do not, then you'll see Morales.
Jimmy Wright, the bullpen coach, looking on. And this ball hit hard, but right to Scudero. 7 innings complete, 6-5 Boston. Back to Coors Field in a moment. Well, in the 2nd inning, Miguel Olivo tatered a 2-run home run to give the Rockies a quick lead. Rockies were up 40-0 at one point, and then Daniel Nava, who drove in 3 runs tonight against Ubaldo Jimenez, had a double there. The big blow at Darnell McDonough, 2-run home run that tied up the ball game, and then Ubaldo gave up that punch single to Scudero. 4 runs in the 6th inning, and for the first time this year, Ubaldo Jimenez is on the wrong end of things. Actually, it would be the 2nd time, because that 1-0 ball game he lost at Dodger Stadium to Clayton Kershaw, or 2-0 as the final score was. But 3 great innings from Ubaldo initially, and then problems in the 4th and the 6th. Franklin Morales comes on for the 20th time this year.
And you see the record at 0-3, 460 earned run average. Walks have been the biggest problem for Franklin. 12 and 15 in 2/3 innings. Electric stuff. Too many pitches to get through innings. He's averaging about, right now, 26 pitches per inning since coming off the DL.
And it's strike one on Nava. Or excuse me, ball one on Nava. Nava, just his 5th right-handed at bat in the big leagues.
This has been the problem for Franklin coming out of the bullpen, falling behind. Seems like almost every hitter 2-0.
And that's high, 3-0. And I'll tell you what, it gets tough to watch for everybody involved. Franklin's not trying to throw balls out there, but this is a one-run ball game. This is a critical time. This isn't mop-up duty. This is keep it right where it is and give our offense a chance.
And that's why Belisle's warming up down in the bullpen. The leash won't be very long.
Can't afford to have it be long.
It's going to probably be 2 hitters at the most, with Reddick, the lefty, up next.
Well, in the 4th strike zone, pretty good fastball. Again, it's one of those deals at 95. From Miguel Olivo, don't worry about corner to corner. Set up in the middle of the plate and just hope you throw it there. Because that ball, he set up in the middle and just sailed to the outside corner and swing and miss.
And that's where Miguel set up, right down the middle. Fastball fouled back. Street goes an inning and a third, allows 1 hit. He struck out a batter, so very solid debut in 2010 for Houston Street. Ubaldo Jimenez gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3, 10 hits. It jumped his ERA all the way up to 160. Still ridiculously good. Ball 4. This is the most patient team in baseball, and Nava, new to the big leagues with the Red Sox, understands that. So a leadoff walk, Josh Reddick coming up. Let's take a look at our Haynes comfort zone. And Rafael Betancourt is in a comfort zone right now. Last night, worked a pretty clean inning. He's given right-handed batters in particular, George, of late fits.
He has done that. He's been able to really control the ball game. Taking over that role in the 8th inning that you wanted him to have, and he did such a great job a year ago.
It's the first walk allowed by the Rockies pitching staff tonight. Reddick's 0 for 3. And he bunts this one foul.
He wasn't real committed to that bunt, though.
Well, when you had to bunt, Jeff, against a hard-throwing left-hander, a different feeling?
Yeah, it really is. I remember having to go up and bunt against John Franco back in his heyday with the Mets. It wasn't a day at the beach, I can tell you that much, but you still have to stick your nose in there, even if you think it might be broken. Let it pitch up and in.
Last night's game in the 8th inning was a 1-run game. Tonight's game in the 8th inning is a 1-run game. But the atmosphere, though every seat is occupied as it was last night, the atmosphere just seems different. He swings away and he hits it up the elevator shaft. 1 out.
Nice job by Ian Stewart to come in and take that ball, because that was right about 5 feet in fair territory. Tough play for the catcher to try to turn around, and it was up there so long that either Todd or Ian could get it. Take the pressure off that catcher.
2 hitters, and Morales will give way to a right-hander. Jim Tracy going out. Nava's at first. Reddick's retired. Darnell McDonald is coming up. And Morales hands the baseball to Jim Tracy. 6-5 Boston. We're in the 8th inning. Here comes Matt Belisle. Let's take a look at our Breaks Plus poll of the game. Are Red Sox fans the most passionate in the American League? 42% say yes, 58% think not. They must be Yankee fans. Now, it's been a very pleasant homecoming tonight for Darnell McDonald. Did not get into the ball game last night. Tonight he gets a start for Mike Cameron in center field. A single, a pop out, and a game-tying 2-run home run. Tonight's call to the pen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. He slashes at the first pitch slider, and it's 0-1. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Ubaldo Jimenez with 2 outs and a man on first pitch, and McDonald sat on the fastball and he hit it 430 feet in center field. You can catch another great replay with the Colorado Lottery. Replay any of those non-winning scratch tickets through the 30th of June at coloradolottery.com. Here's the 0-1, 0-2 now. Second appearance for Matt. He's had a terrific season.
Had a great season. Got his first save since July 5th, 2005, last night for the Rockies. And he said it was nothing more like the adrenaline rush with the crowd. And he even said, even though I gave up the run, he said, I made it interesting. But he said that with the crowd and that experience last night, he said, man, was that fun.
Well, you just kind of see, too, the way Francona brought in Bard, and now Tracy bringing in Belisle here in the 8th, just how important it is to keep this game just 1 run.
Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Well, it is. I mean, you get him to look at a few sliders, and you paint the outside corner with the heater, and it doesn't necessarily have to be hard. It's all about location and where you put it. Colpa gave the outside corner to Belisle. That's why McDonald's looking to that outside corner.
2 outs. Jason Varitek will step up for the first time tonight.
I mentioned earlier, 80 at bats for him. Varitek, though, with 7 home runs, 12 RBIs, 270. All-Star voting. Send your favorite Colorado Rocky to the All-Star game. Go to ColoradoRockies.com.
Send your deserving Colorado Rockies like Carlos Gonzalez to the All-Star game. Rockies have 4 terrific candidates. Unfortunately, one is hurt. Troy Tulowitzki. Miguel Olivo deserving. Fargo deserving. Of course, Ubaldo Jimenez will be automatic.
They were talking today on a national show that I heard they were talking all about these catchers that have been backups who shared time and haven't been everyday guys. The one guy they never mentioned was Miguel Olivo, and I was shocked. I said, I'm thinking to myself, how can you not mention him?
Mountain time zone, George.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's stay up a little later.
That's a strike. 1-1 on 38-year-old Varitek, who has the C on his jersey.
Pretty rare in baseball that you'll have somebody actually wear a C, not like you have in football or hockey or anything like that where you have the designated captains.
It's a big deal, really big deal in hockey. What an honor on a franchise as storied as the Red Sox for the 14-year veteran Varitek to have the C on his jersey like Derek Jeter wears in New York. Varitek hit just 209 last year, and he's got a 2-2 count here with Daniel Nava at first.
To catch as many games as he has caught through his career, and you mentioned 14-year veteran, well, you would anticipate at some point things start to slow down a little bit.
Two. And the strikeout of Varitek. Matt Belisle comes on. He fans McDonald, and Varitek will go to the bottom of the 8th. 6-5 Boston. Tech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Rockies had a 4-0 lead, a 5-2 lead, but the Red Sox got 4 in the 6th inning. And that is where we stand, 6-5. The first ball game all year that Ubaldo Jimenez looked like the rest of us, human. And early on, it didn't look that way because he was dominant through the first 3 innings. So the Rockies have 6 outs to work with in the 4 holes of pitcher spot. So Melvin Mora will pinch hit against the hard-throwing Daniel Bard. That fastball is off the plate, ball 1.
Mora looking for his first base hit as a pinch hitter. Averages at 260. 10 RBIs.
League hitting just 167 against Bard. And this is an easy play for Beltrick.
Left-hander's a $106. 106 against it from the left side. Right side 233. By the way, De La Rosa made his start tonight. He's still in the ball game, but he's pitched 4 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts for Colorado Springs. Good job.
No, did you say anything about runs? No runs?
2 hits, no walks, 5 punch outs. They're not going to score any runs.
All right, good. Seth Smith is 1 for 2 and a sac fly.
Coors Field Suites, party facilities, and picnic areas fit any event and any budget. Pick up the phone and call the Rockies at 303-312-2444.
And this is on the ground to Martinez. 2 outs.
134th game for Martinez at first base. So most of that was with the Cleveland Indians. The second one this year at first base for Martinez.
Well, 2 things with that. First of all, you get a guy over there that has a little bit more mobility, but also you have your backup catcher still in the ball game in case something happens with Veritek.
That'll bring up Miguel Olivo. 2-run home run in the second, a strikeout, and a ground ball to short since then. The Rockies offense, we have said this too frequently this year, has absolutely shut down since the 4th inning. They have 1 hit. That was a Helton single with 2 outs in the 7th. That's their only base run. 0-1 on Olivo. And in the first 4 innings, you thought the Rockies were going to score 50 tonight.
And they even tacked on a couple there when you thought, well, you know what, they got 1, then they got 2, and they extended the lead in the 4th by adding 1 more to make it 5-2.
They had 9 hits, Jeff, in the first 4 innings.
Yeah, and those 9 hits, 8 of them were scorchers, just loud balls that were flying all over the ballpark.
Yeah. And a couple of the outs were loud outs. Brad Hopp, an RBI ground out, a line shot 1 hopper. Seth Smith drove 1 for a sac fly to left center field on the line. You have any theory, Huey, as to why they struggle so much late in ball games? Really, for the middle frames on.
I don't. I mean, just talking to everybody is kind of perplexed along those same lines, Drew, that they just don't know why.
Well, I think a little bit, I kind of have a theory that 8th to 9th inning, you're facing guys like Bart, and you're getting ready to get Papelbon, too.
Well, I can understand that, but the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers go back even before that. And for a club that offensively second in runs in 09, the way they've been outscored, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, it just doesn't make sense. Just keep waiting for it, as Jim Tracy does, to turn around. Hopefully tonight will be the night. Not going to be this 8th inning. A 1-2-3-8 for Bard. He goes an inning and a 3rd and retires all 4 hitters. 6-5 Boston off to the 9th. Boston leading 6-5, ninth inning. Coming up after the ball game, the Rockies post-game report with Tom Helmer. Tom, what's going on?
Well, Drew, we know Ubaldo Jimenez had the flu. Maybe flu-baldo was more of what we saw tonight than Ubaldo Jimenez. We'll talk about that. Also, Houston, we have a reliever. Houston Street puts in a strong inning in the third inning. We'll break down his performance. And how about Daniel Boom Nava with 3 RBI tonight? We'll talk about that and much more, plus get you into the clubhouse right after the ball game. Drew?
All right, Tom, we'll look forward to that. We'll hopefully look forward to a happy clubhouse. Manuel Corpus will try to keep it a 6-5 game as he comes on for the 34th time. First appearance since a rough weekend.
Had a very rough weekend. Slider was flat, fastball was up. 34th appearance for him on the season now. 9 of 11 in save opportunities for Manuel Corpus.
And he'll face the top of that Boston lineup. Marco Scudero's 2 for 4. That's a good pitch. Well located with Sink, 0-1. One ball, one strike. Red Sox since April the 20th, they got off to an abysmal start. But since then, they're 39-20. They won 95 ball games last year. Eliminated in the first round. 3-game sweep by the Angels. Spilborgh's one out. Dustin Pedroia will come up. The Rockies against Jonathan Papelbon have Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, and Ryan Spilborgh scheduled. On the bench, they have Giambi, Chris Nelson, and the backup catcher, Chris Iannetta. And strike one on Pedroia. Single and 4 trips tonight for Dustin Pedroia. A couple of strikeouts as well against Ubaldo. Rockies, with the win, would reach 5 games north of 500 for the first time this year. And they haven't put together a streak either direction this year.
Nothing too big or nothing on those losing streaks on the other side.
That's because number 38 was going every 5th day. And today was unusual in that more than 2/3 of the time, this is an easy play for Herrera, more than 2/3 of the time, Ubaldo was following a Rockies loss. Today, finally, he was coming off a Rockies victory, trying to extend good baseball.
You know what? That's what makes this game so fun, though, and so unique. Because last night you're thinking, okay, Lester, yeah, it's going to be a low-scoring ball game, but you got Chassin, 2-1 ball game. Today, you had Lackey and Ubaldo. Who would have thought the game would be 6-5 as you're looking at the 9th inning?
Yeah, and especially with all due respect to Lackey, from Ubaldo's perspective, Lackey's given up some runs this year.
Right, but the flip side, yeah, more Ubaldo, I guess.
Yeah.
You're looking at it, 6 runs. I mean, we haven't six runs from him in 5 games.
Who in this ballpark and who at home that follows the Rockies, when it was 4-0, didn't think it was done?
Oh, I think everybody did. I mean, you think about this with Ubaldo. This is an interesting stat. I read this early. At the start of this game, he had faced 335 guys. 335. 13 had scored. Think about that ratio.
Remarkable. And a ground ball to third. That eats up Stewart. That's one of those top spin in between hops. And it goes as a base hit for Martinez. Mike Cameron will pinch hit in the pitcher's spot.
But notice where he's positioned right now. He's kind of caught in between, not only with the hop, but also with the positioning. You're not used to starting out right where he was in that 5 to 6 hole. Usually when you have the shift on, you're more over towards the shortstop, or if you're playing third base, you're 2 or 3 steps to where you started that play.
Cameron takes ball one. Mike started in center field last night. Sure, you'll see him stay in the ball game defensively. That's down 2-1. A bit more on how good the Red Sox have been since the third week of April. In their last 11 series, they've won 8. And they've had 3 splits. They've not lost a series in a long time. Deep right. And the catch made by Spielberg. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. Boston's ahead 6-5. And the scheduled threesome: Ian Stewart, Clint Barmas, Ryan Spielbergs. He has 16 saves. They're hitting .198 against him, and right-handed hitters have only 6 base hits all year against Jonathan Papelbon.
29th ball game, and you look again, 16 to 17 save opportunities at home, and earned run average at 245, out on the road 327. Left-handers have hit well off of it, 263. Right-handers 122.
So Ian Stewart is 1 for 3. He'll be the first to face Papelbon. He throws his fastball more than 80% of the time. You see the split also, George, a little slider.
You will see a slider, but most of the time it's fastball, and he comes at you pretty hard with it. Papelbon's fastball, range 92 to 94, touch 95 at times. He just attacks hitters in the strike zones like all good closers.
1-0.
All-time saves leader with Boston at 167. Second most saves since 2006, behind Francisco Rodriguez with 200.
Stewart, it's a high drive, deep right field. We're all tied up. Hang it right there. That was a Titanic blast. First home run all year.
swinging and missing an awful lot of them. He doesn't swing and miss this thing. I can tell you right now, fastball gut shot, 96 miles an hour, and he hit it deep into the deck in right field. He knew it. So did Papelbon knew it. And Greenland is going back and forth. It's now all square here in the bottom of the ninth.
Here's Barnes, and he has a quality hack. That's what we're all talking about.
And I love the chant that's going on right now, too. Let's go Rockies.
And this will be a base hit. Clint Barnes is aboard. The winning run at first base. Yeah, this is the kind of magic that has eluded the Rockies this season. 6-6, bottom of 9. Barnes with speed at first and nobody out.
Now you got a little bit of a interesting choice here if you're Jim Tracy. I mean, do you bunt Ryan Spilborghs and then maybe pinch hit for Jonathan Herrera, but you got the pitcher spot a couple doors down after that.
Remember earlier, though, they had Giambi out in the on-deck circle. They switched to Mora once the inning was over, but had Mora lead off. So you still have Giambi's bat sitting on the bench to pinch hit from the left side. The only left-handed pinch hitter the Rockies have.
Well, that's where having that extra infielder, too, and Chris Nelson helps, because you can then pinch hit for Jonathan Herrera to have, since you've already used Mora, but you still have Nelson left.
Here's the 0-1. And Spilborghs gets the bunt down. And the throw to first is just in time. So the winning run in scoring position. The Rockies will have a couple of swipes at it, beginning with Jason Giambi.
Now 2 for 8 in his career against Papelbon. You take your shot when you can take it. Jim Tracy's going to take it now.
Ian Stewart has tied it, his 8th home run of the year, first this season at Coors Field. It had been a very difficult month of June for Stewart, and then he goes and hits one about 4 miles. Barnes at second, Giambi at the plate. Inside. Giambi trying to dial up September of 2009 when he was so clutch in these situations. Jason Giambi. You like that finish? Rockies Nation has been waiting almost 3 months for an ending like that. And for the first time this year, the Rockies 5 games north of 500. That has an 07-09 feel to it, doesn't it? The big man hit one a mile. 8-6 Colorado. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Jason Giambi. 2-run walk-off home run. We'll be seeing that flight for a while. Shook the camera. Shook the dugout. It never gets old. Let's go down to the field. Jason Giambi's with a line.
All right, guys, thanks very much, Jason. This is very much a feel of the 07-09 season. An unbelievable at-bat for you. Just kind of take us through that. A guy that, Jonathan Papelbon doesn't get hit a lot, but what did he give you?
I faced him in the past with New York, and I just was grateful for the opportunity, and it's got a pitch hanging, and I didn't miss it.
When you were with the Yankees, you're very familiar with these Red Sox fans. It feels like that type of atmosphere, kind of a playoff atmosphere, but you were able to get the job done. Yeah,
that's what I love playing against these, East Coast teams, Boston, wherever. They bring a lot of fan support, and it's like a World Series game. So it's an exciting win for us.
This is the reason that you came to the Colorado Rockies last season, was to be part of something like this. And I know you've been waiting all season long to get the opportunities, to get the at-bats and come through. Just take us through that, how great that feels.
Oh, no, it's exciting. I've kind of struggled a little bit, pinch hitting by doing it a full-time role, and I've been working with it. And Jim Chase keeps giving me that opportunity, so I'm very grateful for it.
We take for granted how wonderful Ubaldo Jimenez is. Obviously didn't have the greatest stuff tonight, but he still kept you in the game for the best part of it. Nice that the offense was able to pick up such a tremendous pitcher.
Oh, he had a lot of guts. He's been sick to go out there and pitch like that against a tough Boston Red Sox. I take my hat off to him, and the offense really came through tonight.
The fans absolutely love you. What can you say about these two games so far? An opportunity, obviously, you already won the series, an opportunity to sweep these Red Sox.
I want to thank the Denver fans for taking me in as one of their own.
All right, Jason, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
I'll tell you what, goosebump moment here on June 23rd, 2010. And the big man providing it, Jason Giambi with a walk-off 2-run homer. Does not get any better than that. 8-6 Colorado. We've got a lot of work still to do. Post-game report is next.